Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Question. This is a special edition coming to you your way live from the Garissa University. My name is Fred Indimuli. Now, on April 2nd, 2015, 5 gunmen struck into the Garissa University. By the end of that day, without going back into details, 148 people lay dead on these grounds. 79 people were injured. The university was closed down immediately, but 9 months later, in January of 2016, the institution reopened. Now, this is exactly 3 years, 8 days since that fateful day. The university continues, life continues as normal, with the students, the faculty members, and the community around the university interacting and going on with their normal lives. But what has happened? What are the conversations now? Are we still talking about the pain, the shock and devastation of back in 2015? Or have we moved on to discuss other issues? Now, I had introduced my panelists just before the break, but let me do so again. Professor Ahmed Osman Warfa, Vice Chancellor, Garissa University. Mohammed Khalif, peace building and conflict expert, chairperson of the Garissa Civil Society Network, also a community leader. And last but definitely not least, I had indicated that we would be joined by Edward Mwamburi, Regional Police Commander, Northeastern Region. He's finally made it to the panel. Karibu sana Bwana Mwamburi. Applause for Bwana Mwamburi. Good evening, gentlemen, and of course, yes, members of our audience made up majorly by students of the great Garissa University. Now, let's be candid. Let's discuss these things. Now, when a Vice Chancellor, you were a Vice Chancellor, you're still at the helm of this institution when that fateful tragedy, that fateful day happened. This is 3 years on. How is it feeling from that day up till today?
It has been a very, very painful day. And it's not something that we like to remember. Because we lost very many students. As a parent and as a teacher, it is, a day we like to forget. And so many young men and women passed on. Despite what happened, we have moved on. We picked the pieces, and we're here again. Mm-hmm. Well, we closed university for 1 year of the incident. We moved the students to more university. We buried our dead. We condoled with the parents. And of course, the whole nation mourned. After that, it was the effort of the government. His Excellency the President and his deputy both were here. They saw what happened, they saw the university, and they later on say that let's move on, let's open a university. And 3 years down the road, we have moved on. I'm very happy most students have come back. And of course, there are still non-locals who are here. And we have moved on and they're here.
Okay.
We have picked the pieces and our life continues despite what happened. So what did we do different? Well, the government has been very helpful. One, the first thing they did was to put a police post. We
Inside
have enough,
the university?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We have enough manpower that are now here. And you yourselves, you're here tonight in Garissa University. I think you're secure.
Okay.
You've gone through the gate, you have seen what we have there. You have brought in biometric system where every student's name and picture appears there. We have enough security at the gate, and we say never again. That's what we say here.
Never again.
Never again, yes. That's what we say.
What about the community, Bwana Khalif, the community living around the university? Because definitely they were affected in one way or another by that attack on the institution. How is the community around the university coping? Because they must have felt probably just victims or collateral damage because they were not the main target, but they too suffered.
Thanks, Fred. For us also as a community, it's never again. Because the people who are affected most were the community. this university was vibrant. We had a lot of economic income. People were actually coming here to supply a lot of things, charcoal, eggs, food, ice, everything. You can imagine the booming business that was going on here. And then suddenly, this very foolish thing happened. So people lost a lot of economy. The university was actually a booster. It was actually the only university we had in the entire region. So the people who suffered most were the community. Our only university is closed for 1 year, and you can imagine what happened in that whole year. So now our students were not even going to anything. Everybody else was coming to this place. So the community had actually put in several places. We made our request to His Excellency the President, and we went head hunting. We said, who can get us out of this problem? So Ale had to be head hunted. He was actually an ambassador. We said, come over, you're a local, you've got to come and work here.
You're talking about the regional commissioner?
The regional commissioner. We had to head hunt. Even him. He's one of the members who was selected to come and make and bring about change here. So we're vigilant, and the catchword, as the vice chairman has said, is never again.
Okay.
Community has moved on, and you can see once again. And generally, that resilience is with us. It started from the shifter time. We had a lot of banditry here. Good work speaks for itself. That's why we had to go and hunt for Swale. He finished banditry here without lifting a finger and telling people, you cannot be highway bandits. We had a lot of highway bandits here. And vehicles are to move around with escort. You start from Okasi, you are escorted from Wingi all the way to this place. So when he came here, he finished all these things. So we said, get that man at all costs. We will not accept this to happen to us again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Edward Mwamburi, you're part of the security machinery that has been tasked with ensuring that the residents of Garissa, the students of Garissa University, and the faculty members feel secure. Now, from what happened that day, 3 years, 8 days later, can you say with certainty or with confidence that the people you serve are more confident about their security?
Definitely. It's my belief and trust that they feel much more secure than they were previously. And there is a lot that has happened since that time. Remember, we were also very, very highly affected by what was happening, by what happened here. Because remember, as a security agency, when you have that mandate of ensuring that the Wananchi are safe and secure, and then something goes wrong. So immediately, the service went back to the drawing board, and the government assisted us in many ways. One of the ways that we've been assisted, as everybody knows, now the recruitment is almost every year, and good number of officers are being recruited. During that time and before, the numbers were a little bit lower. Now, in terms of other incentives that have been there, the major highlight is on the motor vehicle leasing. This one has actually assisted us in a big way, so that we are able to move to those areas that are in trouble very fast, as opposed to the other times. The aspect of housing. Now, coming back to Garissa, now we have adopted here a multi-agency approach to the security challenges. And I want to believe you'll bear me witness that we are working together more with the communities around than ever before. Now, with the numbers that have been increased, I'm talking about the police officers, vis-a-vis again the other players, be it the prisons, be it KWS. We said, fine, we have the numbers, but then how do we put our acts together? That's why the multi-agency approach was adopted. And here, it is working very well for us, so that if at all you have any information that you are not comfortable perhaps sharing with the police officers, you can always go to the other agency. You pass that information, and definitely it will be acted upon, because at the end of the day, these officers will come together and put their act together and react to that challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, on the second part of this show, we'll be getting some questions from members of our audience. And yes, the police boss says that you're much safer and you feel much safer. Whether or not that is true from your end will come out during that second part. But before that, let's continue engaging our panelists. And when a Vice Chancellor, of course, there are specific challenges. There's a lot of hope. Away from the pain and devastation and shock of that event, trying to recover is also not the easiest thing to do. There are specific challenges that are unique to this university that no other university in Kenya has ever experienced. What is that unique challenge you can say that you face even today on the road to recovery?
Thank you. I think we have a lot of challenges in Garissa University. One, because of what happened, students do not want to come back to Garissa University. We always have to convince most of the students to come here to study. Out of the 400 we were given last year by COOPS, we only got 150.
That's less than half.
That's less than half. The other year we had about 200 and then only 50 reported. So we are, of course, we are a small university and we have better advantage than other universities because smaller classes. I taught in Kitale. I was in Moi University before I came here. I taught in Kitale campus where we had 40 students. And of course you can get the students, know them. In Moi University we will have a class of 800 students. In Chepkoilel there are 300 students. And that's now a class of 300 students, you can imagine, or 800 students, compared to a class of Garissa University where you have only 40 students or 45. The biggest class we have is 80. So that means you can get to the lecturer, you can get to the dean, you can get even to the vice chancellor. I think they have that advantage here, which they don't have in Moi University or in other universities. So we are asking students who are in other universities to come back to Garissa University so they can take advantage of this university's facilities. Of course, we came late into the arena of university. We were given charter last year by His Excellency the President in October. There are a lot of promises. They have been promised to be given money for development, which we are yet to get. Hopefully, we are going to get that money when the budget comes this year, and we are hoping that we'll develop more facilities, hire more lecturers. Of course, Garissa University will be a unique university because this is the only university in this region. And we have to have unique courses, not replicate what we had in Moi University. Because Moi University was a parent university, most courses are from Moi.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have livestock production, dry land agriculture, and others, of course, that will be helpful to this society.
Let me take you back to what you've said, that there seems to be hesitation in terms of students coming here. Even those who have been directed to come to this university, out of 400, only 150 have actually accepted to come and join the Garissa University. Why do you think that is? Is it because, according to the police boss, the general population, even student population, feel much safer now? Then what is the problem 3 years after that day? Why are people hesitant to join?
Let me take you back
Garissa?
a little bit. We have now a perimeter wall, we have CCTV cameras, we have watchtowers, we have a police post, and we, of course I told about the gate and the security there. We are much safer than most universities in this country today. But because of what happened in 2015, that's why students don't want to come back to Garissa University. But hopefully, as we go on and talk to students in Kenya and in other places, then we're hoping that they will come slowly and come back, because it's not easy for them, even the parents, to accept. You know, their kids to be here. Even for you, you will not want your child to come to Garissa University. Of course, I'm sure most people who are coming here today were scared of coming to Garissa. So hopefully, probably within this year or next year, we're hoping that things are going to change. We'll market the university and we'll get more students. That's what our belief is.
Okay. And we'll continue on that issue because there's also issues of faculty members as well. We know the debate about teachers teaching in particular parts of the country. But before that, what about the general community, Bwana Khalif, living around this, the vicinity of the university? Do they feel safer now? Of course, the university has a perimeter wall. There's a biometric system at the gate. There are enough police officers within the university compound. But what about the immediate community just outside the university? Do they feel as safe?
Fred, with all due respect, the Vice Chancellor will bear me witness. All the students, after they were rushing and things were helter-skelter, I know of one parent who actually saved 40 students and made them sleep. Vice Chancellor, am I saying the truth? They came, they were clothing them, they were going to their rooms. People came out of their way, and then they started calling the police to come and pick. These guys' kids were hysteria when actually that incident.
This is a community immediately next to the
neighbors.
Yes, the
neighbors. They are actually very particular about them. So there were a lot of business around this area, and the community is generally very friendly. They came out of the, most of the students were saved by the community. They were rushing out, running around. They didn't know where they were going. They had no sense of direction. There was hysteria all over the place, but the communities were actually running. Some of the students were just running 15 kilometers. I know of a lady who was saved 15 kilometers from here, picked by Amze and brought her all the way back to this place. That's the kind of community that has. And this is one of the things. We needed that perimeter wall. Actually, we also needed the police station. There are these towers, and the community is far much more confident. Actually, some of us who have our children outside this place, the university, if they could only change the faculty, then they would like them to come back here and start afresh.
Yes.
Because it's less expensive.
Bonamumburi, the sentiments by the VC, yes, of course, you've done so much, and yes, the university has done as well, but it appears that even your efforts are not being seen outside of Garissa, that people from outside Garissa are still not seeing like they could come here. Out of 400 students, only 150. Do you feel discouraged by that kind of fear that you've worked so hard, but people still do not see as if you're doing anything in Garissa?
Not at all, Indimuli, because I want to believe for those who have visited here, they go back with a different picture of the state of security of Garissa. It's only that what happened was too major, and it has taken time for people to, to come to terms with what happened. But I also believe it is through this kind of forums, with the media coming in, I want to believe it will go a long way in assuring people that Garissa is safe, and northeastern region for that matter. I want to believe also, when you are making your way here, perhaps there are friends who are asking you, are you going back to Garissa? Garissa of all the places. But I think we've gone back to 24-hour economy. If you walk around the town, you'll see a lot of activities past midnight, which was not the case some 2 years ago. So we've made major strides, and I think it's about us now coming out like the media. Then I think most Kenyans will come to accept. And of course, it goes without saying that for the last also 3 years, we've never had a major incident around here. So I'm not blowing my trumpet, but I want to believe the students who are here, there are those also from down country, they can bear witness at least there is that security which has come back to this region. Yes. And the police presence is also being felt, just like in this institution.
But you must agree that the issue of radicalization, violent extremism, recruitment into violent extremism as well, is still very much alive, and it still remains a challenge. How much of that do you still find like you have to work on day in, day out, in as far as ensuring that the work you've done so far is sustained for a longer period?
Yes, I think we've done a lot in terms of linking up with the communities, the religious leaders, because again you realize these are the mistakes that we used to make before. We thought that security was a preserve for the police. So with this kind of security challenge that we are having currently, yeah, it has exposed us to that, to see the need that if we engage the public, then we are going to benefit even more. So, of course, yes, radicalization is a major issue. And the problem perhaps stems from this issue of joblessness. But again, with the kind of linkages that we are having, at least we can actually be able to tell how many of these boys are out and how many are coming back. So in that way, we are able to be on top of the situation. Yes.
When it comes to radicalization and violent extremism, a lot has been said about the involvement of the community. That's perhaps even some of these elements are present within ourselves. That yes, the communities living around here would know if at all there's one or two elements that could actually result in something like that we saw back in April 2nd, 2015. Is the community more alert right now, 3 years later? Is the community more willing to flash out such elements now? Bwana Khalif.
Fred, the worst thing you can do is to be disloyal to your own country and lack of patriotism. But let's look back. They say the present is built on the past. Let's go back to history and find out when actually terrorism or radicalization or all these things started. It started with Norfolk in the early 70s or something. And then after 20 years, it was the US Embassy. Now, who are these guys who are the US Embassy? You know, this country is a very beautiful country. We have very beautiful beaches. We have nice sun. We have wildlife. Everybody loves this country. In order to kill 9 Americans, they had to kill 200 Kenyans. So this is a new phenomenon. We have learned our lesson, and there are quite a number of issues here. Because if you use the soft approach, and you start teaching patriotism even in schools and tell them that this country belongs to us, there is nowhere we can go, then people will be able to feel that Kenyanization. I'm glad he said it. They changed the tactic. Initially, we had a lot of problems. And in this country, occasionally, there was a lot of hard-handedness on the part of the security forces. But now they are working with everybody. For example now, why would these actually terrible guys come and kill a teacher? They want the schools to close, everything to close, so that these boys can join them, become unemployed, not in school, out of school. What does he do? And then they use their push factors. So this is what we are trying to do. We are actually trying to counter the messages they are trying to give these people in schools and in all these places, that this country is ours. Every morning we sing the national anthem.
Yes.
Nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda. That sense of patriotism, what we are trying to inculcate as a community. And we go everywhere. I come from the civil society myself. We hold a lot of workshops. We talk to these young men. And we even use the sheikhs to actually counter that message they're trying to spread.
But it's also said that apart from youth unemployment, just the general feeling that the national government has neglected this region, you consider yourself marginalized. The fact that even before Bwana Wamburi admits that even now is when the forces have been increased, they're better resourced now. But back then, there was that general feeling that, hey, probably we are not even part of this country, we've been neglected, and that also fueled that radicalization, don't you think?
But your country is your country. True. Maybe kids couldn't get ID cards here. If you know that to get an ID card, you have to produce your grant. There was a lot of high hundreds, but this thing is coming out now. This is one of the best places to live in. Are you saying that the feeling now among the general community is that now the national government is really taking care of us? Now we do not need... We've got the national grid.
We're feeling more Kenyan now.
Of course, there's no question about it. We've got the national grid, which we never got all our lives. Our university has reopened very quickly. There was quite a number of goodwill. We have our own locals running us. The RC, I can just pick up my phone at midnight and start calling the RC, hey, something is happening here. And any young man here can walk into the office of the RC and tell him, look, mister, this and this is what is happening. I'm unable to get an ID card. So we actually changed and overhauled our whole system, and that has brought a lot of improvement.
Yes. Bonavisi, can you attest to that?
Yes, a lot of things are happening. There are a lot of changes that are taking place right now. If you look at the county government, it's about, I think, 8 billion is coming to the 3 districts every year. That's a lot of money. In the past, we never had that kind of money. And we're hoping that with that kind of money, then a lot of things are going to happen. A lot of change will happen, a lot of infrastructure will be built, and hopefully will be equal at par with other Kenyans. That's what we are thinking.
Wow. So the general community is feeling much more included in the national cake.
More than included now.
More than included.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back now, we get to sample some of the questions. Are you in agreement, for example, with everything that the panelists have said? If you have any question that you need to ask the panelists to challenge them on what they've said, your time is coming up. Prepare the questions. Let's take a break. The big question continues.